So this is a pretty, there's a lot of meat to this subject. I'm going to try to cover it briefly here. So on the chalkboard here, I've broken this down into the way that I approach it, and which is also going to be from the artist's perspective, since I'm guessing that's who most of our viewers are. Let me back. I'll start with, there's actually two rights that are required when a song is licensed. There's the master license and the sync license, and those are.
See that up there, folks?
That's the top one under the song itself. So if someone was to reach out to you and say, "Hey, like I love your song, I want to use it in the new Dexter, episode," there's actually, it's not one right. There's two rights. There's the synchronization right, which again Mario touched on, the synchronization license, and that's who owns the music and the lyrics. That's one right and one that you pay for. And then there's the master license as well, which is the actual recording of it. So those are two different payments, and that's kind of the nuts and bolts of how a song gets. Now there's companies like ours that we're a co-publisher and we also rep the master. So what we're called a one-stop, which is really useful for the music supervisors, because with the Incubus guys, you've got different writers involved on different songs, and that's owned by, in some cases, a publisher or by the band. In other cases, the record label owns the master. So you're, as a music supervisor, you have to go clear it in all these different places. So they have to both say yes, which complicates matters. And as a one-stop, you literally come to a company like ours, we give you one signature, you're off and running. So that's an important point to recognize if you're going to approach this as a writer who knows what they're talking about to a music supervisor. As an A&R guy, I don't go to a lot of shows necessarily anymore like I used to, because I don't really care how they are live. I don't really care, I don't need to get here who the singer's dating and if the tire blew out. I don't care. All I want to know is if the song's awesome and if it's produced well, because that makes my job easy, and I can pop it over to a friend or the music supervisor, and they can slot it right into a show. So I can't stress enough, do what it takes to learn how to write a song. If that's going to taxi conventions, if it's listening to Beatles songs 1,000 times in a row, figure out how to write a well-written song. And then don't be submitting demos to music. Get a pretty well-produced song that makes my job easier, so I'm going to reach out to you and be like, hey, that's a great song, and I want to sign that to a publishing deal. That's the second point there. Third one is, and jump in if you have any questions at any point, metadata your music. If you're going to go through the work of writing and getting a song well produced and then submitting it to someone, make sure the information's on there, such as, I jotted some of this down here, band name obviously, the writers and what the splits are of the writers, 25%, 25%, whatever it is, because that's important, who the publisher is and what their split is on it, your contact info, so if I like it or the music supervisor likes it, obviously they can reach out to you, and you might want to throw in the genre of music as well. I'll quickly move on to the fourth one. If you're going to go through, again, the trouble of producing a well-written song, make sure you're bouncing out the instrumental version. As soon as you're done mixing and bouncing out the song, do a version that's just muting the vocals. We need to make my job easier and a music supervisor's job easier. A lot of times, and again, artists wouldn't know this, but when you're dropping that into a film or a video game or whatever, they need to sort of deftly be able to up different parts of the song, over or under dialogue, and if they want to, I have a number of artists that I've signed where the part that gets used more often is the instrumental version, because it's underneath like a club scene or something, and they don't need some dude rocking out on his mic when they're trying to have a conversation. Seriously, if you submit without instrumentals, the possibility of licensing goes down substantially.
I think what we're saying here, folks, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you're looking for a yes from somebody, use my song, make it as easy as possible to get a yes, right? Don't make people call you back, because they probably won't.
Because the thing is, it's a supply and demand thing, right? There's so much supply. If you have a great song and you're going to make me go through an extra 30 minutes a day, I'm on to the next song. I don't have time for it.
Folks got to get rid of this romantic notion that somehow the song is just going to spin somebody's head. Maybe it does, but you got to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah, no, totally. And there's a ton more things you can do, and I'm just trying to touch on the top ones.
Keep going. I'll get out of the way.
All right, so the fifth one, just as an A&R guy, nothing's more frustrating than you as the artist going through all these first four things, and then I hear your music somewhere, or I hear it on Facebook, and actually, I don't hear it on Facebook. That's the problem, because as an A&R guy, I'm spending a lot of time on Facebook, and I'm clicking through friends of friends, and to go to a Facebook page and click on a song or try to click on a song that's like locked. And if your viewers don't know what that means, that means you can't play the song unless you like it as a friend. I don't have time for that. Like, I want to click on the song and contact you. So I would say use the application band page, which I think you've touched on before. You talked to Jay.
You spoke to Jay.
It's a great software or something similar, but I'd recommend Bandpage. It's free. So it makes it easier for folks to find you and listen to your music and reach out. It's a stupid mistake to go through all that work and then not have your music accessible and easy to reach out and listen to.